journey through different political systems, exploring the challenges and triumphs of the nations near and far. Hear from world leaders, experts, newsmakers, and everyday citizens as they share their perspective, providing a comprehensive overview of the political landscape. Tune in every Thursday, 4 to 5 p.m. on Hard Facts to be a part of the global conversation on 99.3 Nigeria Info. In a world filled with dreams and aspirations, there are those who dare to turn their visions into reality. They are the backbone of our economy, the small, medium, and big businesses that drive us forward. From the quaint corner stores on Broad Street to the local boutiques and small businesses in Balogun, medium-sized businesses fuel the engine of growth, providing job opportunities for countless individuals. These businesses form the lifeblood of our economy, working hand in hand to create a thriving ecosystem of commerce and prosperity. On Balogun Broad, we celebrate the resilience and ingenuity of small, medium, and big businesses. We don't just keep an eye on the stock exchange market, we're in touch with our local markets too. Join us every Wednesday, 5 to 6 p.m. on Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
All right, welcome. It's now time for Global Review, and you know how we do it on Global Review. We take you outside the shores of Nigeria. Sometimes we stay within the shores, just around the Gulf of Guinea. But today, we're going as far as the Democratic Republic of Congo. And for those of you who have been following the news, you'd obviously know that there was a foiled attempt for a coup that was planned. In fact, the presidential palace was taken over for a time, and then of course things went sideways. I'm going to give you some background, and of course I'm going to introduce my guest to you as we go on the conversation. Once again, my name is Maryann Okon. Welcome to Global Review. But shall I give you some background here on this issue? Let me just go to the issue itself and give you some background. My guest is trying to sort himself out and his lighting issue, because we can barely see his face on the Zoom. He's joining us from Ghana. He's been on the show before, but today we are bringing him back to talk about what's happening in DRC. Okay, we're still trying to sort out his Zoom, so hopefully we can get him to. I'd like for you to face the window where the light is coming from, because what's happening is that you're backing the light, so we can't see your face. Yes, while he's trying to sort himself out, we'll just go into the background. I'm sorry, these things happen when you want to have conversations on Zoom. It's very difficult. Yes, this is perfect. Yes, great. This is way perfect. So we would manage this. Okay, my guest is Nketiah. He is from Ghana. He is obviously an international relations expert, and of course he's obviously very well vested when it comes to geopolitics. And let me give you some background to what happened. In fact, 3 Americans we hear were involved in a brazen weekend attack on Congo's presidential palace, and this formed an unlikely band under the leadership of eccentric opposition figure Christian Malanga, who dabbled in gold mining and used cars before persuading his Utah-born son to join in the foiled coup attempt, according to officials who described the events of the week that just passed. 6 people, including Malanga, were dead and dozens were arrested, including 3 Americans following the attack, and another on the residence of a close ally of President Felix Tshisekedi. The Congolese army spokesperson, Brigadier General Sylvain Ekenge, told newsmen. In fact, Ekenge said Malanga was killed in a shootout early on Sunday with presidential guards. The situation, they say, is now under control. Of course, we'll be showing you videos of what transpired in DRC. But Michael, it's so good to have you join us. Good evening.
Good evening, and it's good to also be on your show once again.
Great. Many would wonder why, a coup attempt of such a nature would happen in the DRC, being that the DRC has so much on its plate already, with the illegal mining, the conflicts that have been on, and fingers being pointed at the United States, the UK, and several other things that have happened along that, that axis of the continent. One would have wondered that why this, coup attempt would have been, in the in the scheme of things at all.
Well, the Democratic Republic of Congo is not new to coup d'etat or attempted coup d'etat. This is a country that traces its history, in fact, coup d'etat. You remember that the first democratically elected leader of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Patrice Lumumba, was himself a victim of military intervention. He was not just overthrown, he was assassinated. His body dumped in a liquid suspected to be acid. That till now, we don't have what we can boldly and confidently say that these are the actual remains of a former president, the head of state of another sovereign country like the Democratic Republic of Congo. It was about 5-8 years ago that allegedly some part of his dental body or structure was apparently taken by one of the Belgian soldiers who killed him and kept at a museum in Belgium. That part of his body was returned to the DRC to be buried. And it is also not surprising that immediately the coup d'etat news of the attempted coup came about, people started pointing accusing fingers at the United States of America and the West. That we are going to delve much more deeper into it. But people on the continent, our listeners, our viewers should not be surprised that yet again the Democratic Republic of Congo was the victim of yet another attempted coup d'etat. This is a country that has so much, it traces its roots to coup d'etat. Allegedly, its former president, the immediate past, Kabila, is alleged to even have been behind the assassination of his own father for him to have become president. So this is a country that has a long history of foreign intervention, of domestic intervention, and Democratic Republic of Congo and coup d'etats are like inseparable twins. And of course, there are a lot of factors that accounts for this. The resource-rich nature of the Democratic Republic of Congo makes it an ideal nation or country for any group of people to target, to control and pursue what we call state capture, controlling a country, ruling a country between cronies, people and their cronies, and actually capturing the resources of the country. And there are instances, not just in the DRC, but in other countries on the continent and in other parts of the world like Latin America and Southeast Asia, where countries, third world countries, developing countries, you can call them, with vast amount of natural resources, have become the subject and target of multinational corporations. So at times, it is not enemy states or states with ideological differences that sponsor people to undertake some of these military interventions. At times, it is powerful multinational corporations whose budgets and resources are more than 150 states combined, who need specific types of resources that sponsor some of these things. And we know that currently the world is in a global transition from high carbon energy sources. I'm talking about crude oil, petrol, diesel, and all those hydrocarbons. We are on a transition from them to green energy sources. We are talking about electric vehicles, solar vehicles, and other stuff. And the Democratic Republic of Congo is the only country on earth that has the largest deposits of lithium. And lithium is one of the major components used for the manufacturing of these electric
all our gadgets. Yes, all our gadgets.
They have cobalt and all other metals that are also used for the iPhone. And all these makes the Democratic Republic of Congo an ideal target or destination for anybody, either police or a military man who wants to overthrow a country. So we shouldn't be surprised that more than 56, 57 years of independence, day in, day out, the Democratic Republic of Congo has become a victim of coup d'etats, of instability. As we are speaking today, aside coup d'etats that have happened, there are actually about 30% of the land size of Burkina Faso that is controlled by rebel groups. The central government has no authority over the administrative purposes of these provinces in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And it all boils down to one thing: the scrabble for resources. Whoever that controls the resources control the people and has power, and that has been the bane of the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Let's go to what happened on Sunday, and I'm going to ask that we roll the videos. Now, the presidential palace was taken over. Let's talk about Malanga. In the scheme of things, of course, we hear that he was able to convince his American-born son to join, and then, of course, two other Americans were in the mix. They were seen to be making these videos out from the presidential palace, and he kept screaming about Zaire. In fact, they put up the former Zaire flag at the presidential palace in that video. And one would really wonder what Malanga's excuse was for him to want to take over, even though you've given us a background that he could have been sponsored by a multinational. It could have been that he also wanted a piece of the cake. Could it also be that there are people in the DRC that are not happy with Felix Tshisekedi and his government because of all the things that are happening under his watch?
I doubt that is the case. You see, in reality, historically, every group of people who took up arms, either for the purposes of war, for military intervention, or for any form of uprising, they try one way or the other to give a justification, a basis, a philosophical underpinning on why they are pursuing such an agenda. We were not surprised that after Putin invaded Ukraine, he came out with some form of reasons to justify his invasion of Ukraine. One, he argued that the Ukrainians were hoarding so-called, they were developing or building nuclear weapons, that the Ukrainians were accommodating NATO troops, and he felt that he was threatening as a neighboring state to Ukraine for Ukraine to harbor or accommodate NATO and their troops. And then he said unthinkable that Vladimir Zelensky is a Nazist, and he was pursuing a Nazi agenda against some people. How can Vladimir Zelensky be a Nazi when he himself is a Jew? This man is someone who has Jewish ancestry. In fact, his grandfather was a military commander for the Ukrainians during the Second World War. And there's a statue of his grandfather at a memorial cemetery in Ukraine, where he was portrayed as someone who fought against the Nazi regime and protected and defended Jews because of his Jewish background. The same could have been what informed what's the guy's name?
Malanga.
After the coup, if you watch the video that came out after the attempted coup, he was seen screaming, "This is the new Zaire. This is the new Zaire."
Yeah.
And that in its own is a political statement. He was trying to speak to a section of the Congolese population who believed that things were better off in the old order, when there was no Democratic Republic of Congo and when there was Zaire. He was trying to speak to a section of the population who feel marginalized, disenfranchised, underdeveloped, who consider themselves as a group of people under economic and socio-economic deprivation. Those were the people that he was trying to incite. You see, before anyone attempts to become a leader, number one, the most important thing is that you can never be a leader without having followers. And he wanted to speak to a section of the Congolese population to draw them to his side and make them his followers of the failed coup attempt. So that could have been a basis. Number two, as I said earlier, it could have been sponsored by multinational corporations. I've told you about lithium and billion-dollar deposits of minerals in the Democratic Republic of Congo. In these days, the multinational corporations don't even need to approach an individual to undertake a coup d'etat. Per my analysis of the sequences of events that happened and how poorly the attempted coup was executed, which led to its premature failure. Although it was doomed to fail from the very beginning, this was a premature failure because of the nature and the manner in which the attempted coup was executed, moving to the wrong targets, moving to the wrong people, moving to a presidential palace when it is known among even ordinary Congolese that the subsequent presidents have all declined to live in the presidential palace because of security reasons. It means that coup d'etat was poorly executed. There was no monitoring of President Felix Tshisekedi. There was no coordinated monitoring or coordination among the coup plotters to know where the president was at this point in time. And Malanga even never had insiders in President Felix regime, because for any coup to be successful, number one, you have to have insider in the ruling government or the ruling regime who can furnish me with information. If you look at how poorly the whole coup d'etat was executed, it speaks to one thing. Malanga acted alone. He acted with a group of trusted friends who think that they could just invade another West African country, overthrow a democratically elected government, and of course, offer the whole country to the highest bidder. That was what happened.
Let's talk about the failure, because you've touched like the fact that this was poorly planned out. We have some videos, showing how his son and some other Americans were being captured while they were trying to swim to Brazzaville. After Malanga himself was being killed, we could see the soldiers of the Tshisekedi government, trying to grab them and bring them to justice. They were caught by, of course, the riverbank while they were trying to swim. Will this, in one way or another, I have just about 2 minutes before we go on a break. Will this, in one way or another, serve as a deterrent for any other persons who are trying to, institute some sort of a coup d'etat in the DRC? Even though you have said that, look, this is something that keeps happening in the DRC, but it's 2024 and they have bigger problems, to deal with. But what do you think that this will send shockwaves, not just to the people in DRC, but even the diaspora?
Ideologically and psychologically, whoever, any individual who attempts to overthrow a constitutionally elected government backed by the armed forces of that country is not an individual who is afraid of death. Psychologically, these individuals psych and prepare their mindsets of some possibilities, either succeeding or failing. And one consequence of failing to overthrow a government is a treasonable offense, punishable by death across all countries in the world. Even in the world's oldest and civilized democracy, the United States of America, any attempt to overthrow the constitutional government is treasonable in nature and by offense. And as a result, I don't think this will instill some form of fear in anybody anywhere in the US, in Africa, who is plotting to undertake any form of military intervention in the Democratic Republic of Congo. However, with regards to security studies, it has been established over the time that one of the major incentives that gives people the hope and confidence that they can plot and execute a successful coup d'etat is about the porosity in the nature of the domestic security of a state. Any state that has inherent security challenges, states where the central government does not control the entire territories of that country, and all you at coup d'etats that have happened in Africa, especially in the sub-region, in Togo, in Mali, recently in Mali, in Burkina Faso, in Niger, wherever that coup d'etat has happened, there is a proven sequence of all these countries being in some form of instability, where the central government does not control large territories of the country. In Mali, about 45-50% is controlled by armed insurgents and terrorists. In Burkina Faso, more than 65% of the country is managed or controlled by terrorists. All these states have very poor security architecture, And the Democratic Republic of Congo is not different from these examples of states that I've mentioned.
Okay.
And that is the weakest link, and that is the greatest motivator to any individual that 5, 10, 20 people think
might want to do more. Wow. That is very interesting. But we need to go on a break. Maryann Nketiah is joining us live from Ghana, and we're talking about the situation in DRC. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be taking your thoughts and comments on this issue, and of course talking about going forward. And we have some information for you. Stay with us. It's still the nation's #1 talk news and sports radio station, 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Correct food, they always give me joy. That's now why anytime where they cook like this, they always season them with no cubes. Come add correct vegetables inside. Ugu, tatasheo, shombo, onions. No one know they put. Now you make my picking them, they always enjoy my cooking.
Daddy, I never available. I want more.
You see? Sama all your food with correct vegetables. Come season them with no cubes for that to get delicious taste. Today, chop better.
Ladies and gentlemen,
boys and girls, introducing the first of its kind in Nigeria.
The first radio just for kids. It's here at 101.7 Kids FM.
Are you serious?
Oh, yes.
It's going to be fun for kids on your airwaves 24/7.
Talking about from exciting games
Check.
to juicy gist
Double check.
and great music.
Super check.
All these and more on your #1 PlayStation 101.7 Kids FM.
Don't be the last to join the train. Download the Kids FM app on your iOS or Play Store today and stay tuned on the go.
You can stream on our website at kidsfm.ng.
You can also follow us on all socials at kidsfm.ng and stand a chance to be one of the super kids.
On 101.7 Kids FM. Remember, it's no dull moments on Kids FM.
So tune in and stay locked on 101.7 Kids FM.
Let's play.
Who says you can't have it all with one play?
I got that defined boy. You have just won yourself.
Congratulations.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, Mellitus. One player, don't talk to 2 players because you won 20K.
So now you won yourself 20,000 naira. My name is Well Done. Okay, well done. You want to tell you, well done. You won yourself 20,000 naira.
With 500 naira, you can play to win big from 120,000 naira to 190,000 naira daily on Nigeria Info. Go to oneplay.ng and play with 500 naira. And in a few seconds, your ticket is in the draw. Or dial *347*880*3#. Win daily on Nigeria Info. 50,000 naira on Morning Crossfire. 60,000 naira on WhatsApp Lagos. 20,000 naira on Sunnyside. And 60,000 naira on Game On. So Lagos, what are you waiting for? The more you play, the better your chances of winning. Remember to dial *347*880*3#. Play responsibly. Not suitable for persons under the age of 18.
Are you ready to ignite your career in the media industry? Wazobia Academy Spark program is back and better than ever. Registration opens 20th of May and closes 24th of June. Physical classes hold on Wednesday 26th to 28th of June. Spark 2.0 is offering 3 incredible courses running simultaneously. Becoming an OAP, series writing, and video shooting and editing. 16,000 naira only for each course, covering both online learning and 3-day physical training. What are you waiting for? Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to kickstart your career in the creative industry. Visit www.wazobiacademy.com/spark 2.0 to register or send a WhatsApp message to 0908-826-5038 or call 0911-111-1221. Terms and conditions apply. Wazobia Academy. Learn and lead.
As a mom and a dentist, I know the importance of strong teeth, beautiful white smile, and fresh breath. They give you the confidence to eat the right foods without worry. Speak confidently in public, and making friends is easier when you know you have fresh breath. I give my family confidence with Pepsodent's Triple Protection 123. It's 3 toothpaste in 1 to protect their teeth from holes, give them white teeth and fresh breath. The confidence of 3 toothpaste in 1. Pepsodent's Triple Protection 123.
Get in on the action with Betano, your exciting destination for sports betting. Enjoy an award-winning experience with amazing betting options, cash outs and missions, as well as other features. Join now and get a welcome bonus of up to 200,000 naira. Betano.ng. The game starts now.
Enjoy the delicious creamy goodness of Cowbell. Cowbell contains Vitarich and vitamin B9, which supports brain development. Use Cowbell in your tea, cereal, pap, and other meals of choice. Cowbell, so creamy, so good.
What takes a plate of jollof rice to the next level of goodness? Is it when it is cooked with no sizzling cubes for that sumptuous taste? Or when you serve it with correct Nigerian salad, cabbage, carrot, lettuce, and a bit of kidney beans?
It's both. Season your jollof with the rich taste of Knorr cubes and serve with plenty of vegetables. So go ahead and elevate your meals. Today, eat for good.
5 Alive Poppy. So much pulp. So many ways to pop it. He gulps it. She chews it. He slurps it. Filled with pulp in every bowl, everyone pops it their way. So, how do you pop it?
Here you go, dear.
Mom, you didn't add milk.
No need to. Taste it and see why.
Wow, but how?
Is it milky?
Very.
Is it creamy?
Yes.
That's Milo 3-in-1 milky and creamy for you. It's so milky. I don't need to add more milk.
I love it, Mommy.
Give your kids the new Milo 3-in-1. Milky and creamy. It's truly milky. It contains calcium to help your champ win every day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo. If you get the big dreams, to do big things, Milo need it with red money. If you get the big dreams, to do big things, Milo need it with red money. If you get the big dreams.
Get loans of up to 7 million naira on Rain Money. Call 0700 5000 500 or visit rainmoney.com to get started now.
Hey there, kids and parents!
Are you ready to kick off the Children's Day celebration in style?
It's the Kids FM Festival! Get ready for the inaugural Kids FM Festival happening on May 26th at 12 p.m. at the prestigious Balmoral Convention Center in Victoria Island, Lagos.
Come and experience the magic of live performances by talented young artists,
Captivating storytelling sessions,
and thrilling interactive activities that will speak your language, that will spark your imagination and keep you entertained all day long.
That's right! Plus, indulge in delicious treats from our food stalls,
offering everything from tasty snacks to yummy desserts.
Tickets are free, so hurry and secure your spot for a day of unforgettable memories.
Visit www.kidsfm.ng.
Kids FM Festival,
where every moment is a treasure.
Chinedu! Don't worry, Ma. He'll be home on time, just like his dad. I'm cooking their favorite jollof with Sonia tomato mix. They are here.
Hey, is that jollof ready?
Right on time.
Loved ones will always rush home for tasty meals prepared with Sonia tomato mix.
It's so good. It's together with a family.
Yes, Ma.
Sonia tomato mix brings you together. Proudly Nigerian.
Mommy, my teacher said 90% of my brain will develop by the time I am 5.
Really?
What else did she say?
She said I need iron in my food for my brain to grow well.
Oh, very true. And that's why I give you Cerelac Junior every day, which provides half of your daily iron needs.
And Cerelac Junior tastes so good.
Cerelac Junior with Iron Plus. It's all good, Mom.
New Lafarge Water Shield Cement now confirm. Number one waterproof cement for Nigeria. Yeah. Obonge cement for waterlogged areas. Number one waterproof cement for Nigeria. Yeah. New Lafarge Water Shield Cement number one. New Lafarge waterproof cement now confirm. Put full stop for water wahala. With Lafarge Water Shield Cement, water go collect. If water jam house, foundation and basement call, no shaking. Obonge cement for waterlogged areas. Number one water cement for Nigeria. Lafarge, the confirm cement. New Lafarge Water Shield Cement now confirm.
Put full stop for water wahala.
We fit protect your car, your savings.
I beg you, make you no let it boring. Make we make insurance. We lifestyle. You don't even hungry, you say, make your insurance. Give you pass waiting you they collect. Make you no shake body at all. Because now good hands, you deal with Health Insurance Group. Come even join with Boku insurance coverage. You fit also enjoy free awoof like chance to fit network up to 10% discount for hotels, gyms, spas, and for that your store. What you like for the shop? Tickets to enter show events. Plus free materials to carry plan your tomorrow. So when person ask you, what is your insurance company they give you self? Your answer supposed to be with Health Insurance Group. Of course, it plenty pass just insurance.
To follow Choplet all these, sign up on www.healthinsurancegroup.com. Data HEIRS. Here's Insurance Group. Simple life day here.
Meals have a way of taking us on a journey, and when you add plenty of vegetables like efo, ugu, and season with the rich taste of Knorr seasoning cubes, even better.
So, go ahead and elevate your meals with more vegetables and the rich taste of Knorr cubes. Today, eat for good.
In a world where wildflowers only bloom for a few to see, you have a chance to bloom because you deserve it. Bridgerton Season 3 is bringing the royal spotlight to Nketiah City Mall on the 25th and 26th of May 2024. Mark your calendars and come take advantage of the picture-perfect moment to dazzle and shine in the Bloom Box.
Watch the first part of Bridgerton Season 3 only on Netflix. Plans from 1,600 Naira monthly.
It's still Global Review 99.3 Nigeria Info. We're still talking about the foiled coup attempt in the DRC led by Malanga and his son. Of course, as we all know, 3 Americans have been docked. Malanga himself was killed in a shootout while they were trying to carry out that coup plot. Well, my guest, Michael Nketiah, is still on standby, but we have some information for you, so take a listen. Yes, Lagos. IMS education.co.uk
or call 0904 469 3957. 0904 469 3957. Website, visit the website www.aimseducation.co.uk. That is www.aimseducation.co.uk. Ames Education Multi-Destination Sports Assessment Day, your pathway to world-class education.
All right. Well, because I have very little time, Michael and I have just about 4 minutes. Michael, while you and I were having this conversation, we've got messages that came in. Someone here says, it saddens me that all African nations are coming together to resolve this, are not coming together to resolve this Congo issue. It says a lot about how fragmented we are within the continent. A lot of us don't even care about what's happening in neighboring countries, focusing only on USA or Europe. GN from Victoria Island sent us this one. And this person says, good evening, Maryann. President Tshisekedi is incompetent and dictatorial, just like his predecessor, Joseph Kabila. The whole of the Eastern DRC is in the hands of rebel groups M23. He must go. This is from Andose in Lagos. Michael, care to respond?
Well, I've been a strong advocate. The text message, especially the last one, talks more about what we were discussing earlier, that in countries where there are porous or inherent security weaknesses in that state, he was talking about the eastern part of Congo being in the hands of the M23 rebels. Of course, that cannot be attributed to the incompetence of President Felix Tshisekedi alone. If you are to be critically, if you are to be more analytical, we know that even during the tenure of President Joseph Kabila, there were still M23 rebels in that part of the country. Even in Uganda, which has had some form of stability, there are still M23 rebels in some parts of Uganda. So the problem is not changing a leader. The problem is about fixing the weaknesses in security that enables these armed groups and organized groups to take control of parts of the country. When the first coup d'etat happened in Burkina Faso, following the overthrow of President Blaise Compaoré, a government was put in place and that government was overthrown. My argument with a sister radio station in Senegal was that changing the leader of the state does not solve the persistent problem. And since then, about 3 different coup d'etats have happened in Burkina Faso, 3 different coup d'etats have happened in Mali. Leaders have been changed, but the problem persists. In fact, none of the subsequent leaders were able to liberate the territories of land that were captured by the rebels that they promised to fix. All the coup plotters promised, they promised to fix that condition. They came to power on the assumption that their predecessors had failed because large parts of the country were being controlled by rebels. But in fact, when they came to power, the situation worsened and it also led to their overthrow. So it has become a vicious cycle. A vicious cycle of security challenges contributing to all these coup d'etats in West Africa and other parts of the continent. I believe that what needs to be done, which our leaders have been failing to do, I've been talking about it for more than 5 years now, is that Burkina Faso alone cannot solve the security challenges. Some of the rebels and armed groups are using far more sophisticated weaponry than what the country's traditional military and police service have been using. What we need to do is that each sub-regional body, ECOWAS for West Africa, the South African Development Corporation, that of East Africa, that of North Africa, they have to form an armed military wing. The ECOWAS Charter makes provision for ECOMOG, the Economic Military Organization of ECOWAS, which is the military wing of ECOWAS. And that is what Nigeria and other countries were proposing to intervene in Niger when the coup d'etat came about. We need a strong military force, a force of about 20, 30,000, 2,000 or 1,000 each, pulled from the individual military architecture of each member state of all these sub-regional bodies, so that should any Tom, Dick, and Harry or any small group of people decide to overthrow a democratically elected government, either they present the threat or either they've been successful at executing the coup d'etat, these people will move in to dismantle them and restore the country to constitutional rule. That will become a major deterrence because people know that even if they are successful with their coup d'etat, they will still be overthrown by a 30,000 force ready, drawn from member countries on the continent or in the sub-region to restore constitutional order. That is what I
seriously hope that would be the case. But until we get there, I want to say thank you, Michael, because we're out of time. We have to go now. Michael Nketiah is obviously joining us from Ghana, and he is an international relations expert, and he's been analyzing the situation in the DRC. Thank you so much, Michael. Unfortunately, time does not let us, continue this conversation. But I'm sure we can bring you back to have more conversations about, especially the insecurity across the continent. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Well, Lagos, there you have it on Global Review. Up next is Vita Biotics, and I have my favorite pharmacist in the studio. Stay with us.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.